Hey guys, I wanted to do a quick video today, and for a long time, with regards to this subject, I was never going to do a video on this, because I didn't think that I would have anything to say that others haven't said. I'm not a true crime channel. I don't know what my focus is really. I'm just me, but I have followed the Chris Watts case since on and off since August, essentially. And I didn't think I'd hear anything from this moron. He pleaded guilty, and I thought that was the end of it. And then, as you know, recently he came out with this additional information, this confession, which made it so much worse than I had envisioned, which I thought was a difficult thing to do. But I just want to say a few things, and this is all I'm going to say about this. I remember reading, there's a quote by James Baldwin, and I can't remember where it's from because I've read all of Baldwin's. It was in the library collection. And one of the sentences he said, "Murder is not the worst thing that can happen to a man." And I don't recall what he followed up with, but I agree that murder is not the worst thing that can happen to a person. I think that, for me, legacy, taking away someone's legacy, is the worst thing. And let me explain myself. I think that Shanann Watts was somebody who really put herself in second place relative to her children, to her daughters. I think that she's the kind of person who would have sacrificed her life as long as she knew that her daughters would thrive and be safe. But Chris Watts not only took her life, he took the life of their two daughters, thus leaving her with no legacy, other than, say, what we know of this crime. And I feel so sad for her because she died not knowing what eventually happened. She died not knowing the man she married. And when I heard some of his comments, his confessions, I can totally see this narcissist. I recently did a video on the Ted Bundy confessions, and this is another narcissist. And if you listen to him, I did not listen to all whatever hours, but what I did hear was somebody deflecting and somebody projecting, constantly saying, if only this situation didn't happen to me, if only I hadn't met Nicole, this, if only I just seen, if only, I wasn't thinking, had I been thinking, this never would have happened. Am I a horrible person? Yes, Chris Watts, motherfucker, you are a horrible person, because good people do not shove their children in oil wells. And I am not someone with kids. I don't have kids. And I'm not somebody who says that kids are more important than adults. I've never been one of those people. But when you have a father who murders his children, and I think about little Bella in her last moment, the last thing she said was, "No, Daddy." She told that motherfucker no. She stood up for herself. And she's a little badass. And she's tough. But it hit me. So that's what I'm just saying. For me personally, as someone without kids, my legacy is my writing. I live to create this is how I want to be remembered. This is what I want to leave for the world. And I think every person has that. I think Shanann had that with her daughters, and he took that from her. So now, everything she had, the marriage, the man she loved, her children, her house, everything is gone, her life. And he's rotting in jail, which is where he should be. And there's a channel I follow. He's funny. It's called True Crime Loser, and he makes fun of Chris. He calls him a lizard boy because he's totally stoic. There's no emotion. As I said, when I heard him speak about the event, I hear a lot of projection, like it's outside of himself, that he had something taking over him. But he drove 45 minutes and chose to smother his daughters and dump them in oil. And I can honestly tell you that there are no redeemable qualities about this man. There's nothing. He has nothing. He's a piece of shit. And it pisses me off because I can honestly say he puts Ted Bundy in a positive light, because I just reviewed the Ted Bundy Netflix series, and he actually makes Ted Bundy look better. And let me just explain why. Ted Bundy at least was smart. Like, I'm just going to quote for you something I just wrote down from Ted Bundy's Wikipedia page, okay? That Ted was surprised when anyone noticed that one of his victims went missing. He imagined America to be a place where everyone is invisible except to themselves. He did not believe that people noticed each other. And say what you want about the dude, he's a piece of shit, he's evil, he's horrible, he deserved to die. But he was smart. And he did have insights. And Chris Watts could never make an insight like this. So, in that respect, he doesn't even have intelligence. I have to say kudos to the person who took the photo of him. I think, was it at his sentencing? He's in the orange suit, and he's like, his mouth is open, he's like this. And that's how I picture him. He's ridiculous. He's an imbecile. He's a moron. And fuck you, Chris Watts, because now I just put Ted Bundy in a positive light. Thanks to you. But anyway, I just wanted to make this remark because, as I said, I didn't think I'd be following or thinking about this bozo anymore. But he really is even worse than I thought. And his daughters, his wife, they were all way too good for him. And he didn't seem to realize that if he's unhappy in his marriage, he's unhappy with the situation, he doesn't like his job, that he can just speak up. Say no. Talk to your wife. You want to be with the slut girlfriend? Go. You don't have to kill the lady. Let her live. You don't have to make the children suffer. You don't have to carry out what you did. But, you know, affairs are forgivable. People fuck up. But what he did, what you did, Chris Watts, not like you'll see this and I don't give a shit, is not forgivable. So I just wanted to say that. And it's really one of the worst stories, the saddest stories I've heard in a long time. And largely because even though I don't have kids, I felt I identified a lot with Bella. I know what it's like to idealize your father and then come to realize he's a loser. But thankfully I didn't end up in the same fate. And when I hear a story like this, it just really makes me hope that there is something like a heaven, because they didn't deserve that. Anyway, that's all I want to say. More videos will be coming soon, and thank you for listening. I hope you have a good day. Bye.